Cobham, forget Carrington, forget Haaland. Liverpool's academy is the best in the country right now, producing players for the first team that just aren't there to make up the numbers, but are in fact ready to affect games, as we saw in the Carabao Cup final. But it hasn't always been like this. In fact, until Trent broke through in 2016, there hadn't been a top player produced by the academy in almost 18 years. Since Steven Gerrard in 1998, but just how did the academy rise once again? Well, in this video you're gonna find out, but before we get into that, guys, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and also turn on post notifications. Make sure to turn on post notifications so you're notified when I upload. When Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp arrived at the club in October 2015, one of the first things he did was set up a meeting with academy director Alex Inglethorpe. He knew that if we were to be successful over the coming years, a big thing would be recruitment, but not just players for the first team, but players actually for the academy recruitment. In his first season at the club, he gave debuts to the likes of Cameron Brannigan, Conor Randall, but you could tell that these guys weren't going to be stars of the club. These guys weren't going to be guys that were leading the club to Premier League titles, Champions League titles. I mean, just look at where they play now. Cameron Brannigan is currently 27, going to turn 28 in May, and he's currently playing in League One for Oxford United. And Conor Randall is up in Scotland playing for Ross County. So he needed better young players, high quality players that can arrive at the first team and actually make a mark and not just be there for numbers. So they had to devise a new plan, but they didn't just scrap what was happening previously, what had happened in the past. They in fact built upon that. They highlighted key arrivals like Ryan Brewster from Chelsea at 14 years old, Raheem Sterling signing for the club from QPR at the age of 15, and also Jordan Ibe arriving at that age too. These players were all players that were brought in not just from the northwest region, not just from Liverpool's catchment area, but all across the country. So they found their solution. Instead of just focusing on players in the northwest of England, they started to broaden their horizon. Focus was now on quality and not quantity, with the aim being picking up the best talents from all across Europe. And that strategy, it did prove fruitful. I mean, they picked up guys like Billy Kometio, Kijana Hoover and Step Vandenberg. However, it was only after they brought in Stefan Bajcetic that they couldn't do what they were doing, as rules came into play forbidding British clubs from signing players under the age of 18 for their academy from Europe. After the UK announced it was leaving the EU, it wasn't just politics that it affected, but it was also football too. The FA supported this rule as they thought that it would support young players, it would help the young British players get opportunities at big clubs, as now they were just competing with themselves, other British players, to get into the first team and not just players all across Europe or all across the world. So Liverpool did hit a roadblock, but they didn't let that stop them. Instead of Europe now, they just started focusing on poaching the best talents from other academies in the UK. Since 2019, they've picked up guys like Connor Bradley, Trey Nyoni, Bobby Clark, Ben Doak, Cade Gordon, McConnell, Callum Scanlon, all from other academies, all from lesser academies in the UK. I don't know about you guys, but for me that makes sense. I mean, Liverpool are a huge club. If they come in for the young players from the ages of 14 to 16, I mean, most of them are not going to say no. Who's going to say no to Liverpool? Especially when they see the first team doing well, the manager at the club, and also the pathway. I mean, that's the most important thing. The fact they can see a route to the first team, that they will be given opportunities if they produce. If they get their head down, work hard, perform in academy games, they will be given a chance to train with the first team, and then it's just up to them whether they take their spot or not. There are a lot of academies out there. There are a lot of academies with top young players, but not all clubs have a manager with the courage to play youngsters at big moments. He doesn't just bring these youngsters on when it's 4-0, the game's done, just gives them a 10 minutes or 5-minute run out. Like, he brings these guys in cup final. When the score is 0-0, when the score is 0-0, everything is to play for, but he still has the faith, he still has the trust in these young players to go out there and perform. Since he arrived at the club in 2015, Jurgen Klopp has given 41 players their debut. He's given 41 youngsters a chance to play first team minutes for Liverpool. And there's even been examples where he's played full academy teams. Firstly against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup or the League Cup, and then in the Club World Cup they had to fly all the way to Qatar. They expected the first team to travel all the way to Qatar to play against Monterrey in the Club World Cup semi-final. Some managers would have split the first team up and played some of them in this game, some of them in that game, but Jurgen Klopp did none of that. He trusted the young players, he trusted a squad full of academy players to go out there and play against men, to go out there and play against Aston Villa. But it wasn't just on that occasion. I mean, against Shrewsbury in 2020, a couple months later, in another dispute over fixture scheduling, he allowed the young players, he allowed a team full of academy players again, but this time he didn't even manage them. He let the under 23 manager, he let the academy manager Neil Critchley manage the team, and the captain that day was none other than Curtis Jones. I mean, look at the belief that will give to the young players. At the age of 19, you're seeing a UEFA Youth League player, an academy player, captain in the first team in the FA Cup. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that would give me so much motivation seeing that as a young player, as an under 16, under 14, and thinking, bro, in a few years this could be me. All of this does cost money though, it isn't free. I mean, the club are currently spending 13 million a year on their academy. That's 130 million over 10 years. When you look at the maths, what is the return on that investment? I mean, the club have sold 160 million worth of academy talent during that time. As academy director Alex Singlethorpe said in a recent interview with Jamie Carragher, there's 300 million worth of academy talent in this building. And I don't think that's a stretch when you look at guys like Connor Bradley, Kwanzaa, Stefan Bajcetic, like all these guys, if they were to be sold, these guys are currently squad players, some even starters for a team that's challenging at the top of the Premier League, that is actually top of the Premier League as I'm making this video. So what sort of fees would these guys come on? I mean, it's even crazy to think about. Not everyone's happy with this strategy though. I mean, there are some criticism from rival teams, rival fans. You even saw this on social media after Trent posted a picture after the cup final where he captioned it homegrown, and some people were like, oh, you've got this player from this club, you've got this player from this academy, not all these guys are homegrown, not all these guys are part of your academy. For me, that's just hating, because clubs have been doing this for years. I mean, look at Chelsea. John Terry, where did he come from? He's not from Chelsea Academy. He's from West Ham. They got him from West Ham. And it's so funny to me because the same people criticising this, they were nowhere to be seen when Chelsea put up that picture. I remember with Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, all these academy players. But in that picture, Christensen was in that picture. He arrived at the club at the age of 15, 16 from Denmark. You had Billy Gilmour, who had just come from Rangers. Even Manchester United, you look at Garnacho, he arrived at what, age of 16. All of that is so stupid. For me, as long as you've played in an academy, you are an academy graduate. Not every academy graduate has to be there from the age of 5. Like, there's something called academy recruitment. As long as not someone like Harvey Elliott, like, that's one that I can't agree with. Harvey Elliott was signed for the first team. He did play academy games, but he had already made his professional debut for Fulham. He'd already played a Premier League game for Fulham, so I don't think he counts. I see it as a positive anyway. I mean, if all these young guys, if all these young lads are all joining the club at the same time, then we must be doing something right. And I'm sure all these guys have each other on social media. They're probably seeing these guys get opportunities. They're probably seeing Jarrell Conza start against Man City, for example. They're probably seeing Kuma start in an FA Cup match. They're seeing Jaden Dans, they're seeing McConnell, they're seeing Bobby Clark, all these guys come on a cup final. And they're thinking, like, I play these guys in the national team, I play these guys in the England youth groups, like, why can't this be me? It's almost like we're a business and our clients are giving out good recommendations on our behalf. As for the first team though, I mean, playing with these fringe players, playing with these kids, it will only make them play better. Because now when you've got Connor Bradley, for example, instead of Trent, you can't just expect him to switch a pass from 60 yards on the sixpence. You have to play more intricate football, you have to link up with each other better. So it's only going to improve you as a footballer, it's only going to improve you as a player. The new manager as well, the new manager that the club choose and pick, it will be so crucial, as they need to be someone that gives young players a chance. They need to be someone that gives youngsters an opportunity. I've uploaded a new video on my channel discussing who the new manager should be, looking at the pros, looking at the cons from all the targets that have been linked with the club, and essentially playing a role as a sporting director, saying who should be the man for the job. But yeah, that's it for the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, as I said at the start, smash the like button, comment down below any new videos you guys want to see, turn on post notifications to be notified when I upload, and without further ado,